Hey everybody, Christian here. In the last video in this series, we created a Rails model to do and the migration that we needed to actually persist it to the database. Now that we've done that, let's actually open up a Rails console and take a look at how we can create to-dos and query them and all that kind of stuff. So Rails console is just basically an interactive Ruby shell, you can think of it as. And what's great about it is obviously you can do Ruby-ish stuff here, 1 plus 2, an array of 1, 2, 3. But most importantly, you can actually access all the classes and all the records from your Rails application. So to start, let's actually make a new to-do. I'll say to-do equals to-do.new, and it returns an instance or like a to-do record that hasn't been saved yet. So ID is nil, name is nil, completed is false. Remember in our migration we set completed to never be nil and to always default to false, and created at and updated at are not saved. We can check this. We can do to-do.persisted, and we can see that's false, so it hasn't yet been persisted to our database. Let's actually give it a name. Call it finish this video, and then let's save it. We'll say to-do.save. You can see it's beginning a database transaction and actually does an insert into the to-dos table. So name, created at, updated at is name, finish this video, created at this timestamp here, updated at this timestamp at the same time. So now we can do to-do. We can see it has an ID, it has a name, completed is still false, created at and updated at are filled in, and to-do.persisted is true. So let's create another to-do. I'm going to do to-do.create this time, and I'm just going to fill in edit the series. And what happens here is instead of waiting for save, we've just created it immediately with this parameter that we passed in. So it's done another insert, and you can see that this is to-do with ID of 2. So we still have our to-do, right? That's the first one that we created, but say we want to look up the second to-do by its ID. So I'll say to-do.find and then pass in the ID of that second to-do, and you can see it found that there. Maybe I wanted to find it by a different value. To-do find by name, edit the series. It also was able to find that same to-do, and you can see it says select to-dos from to-dos where name equals edit the series. So there are all kinds of really convenient methods as part of this this library that Rails has, and you can check it out in the documentation. But finally, the last thing we want to do is be able to edit a to-do. Well, how do we do that? We can just say to-do update, name, finish the video. I'm just going to give it a more specific name. Finish the video on Rails console. And you can see in very much the same fashion as the one-liner to-do.create, we've just passed in the params that we want to update to to-do, and it has done the update as we would expect. To-do now has the more detailed name. Really, the Rails console is an incredible way to kind of dig in on and experiment with what you want to do with your classes, testing a method and things like that. You can call all kinds of stuff here. And the commands we've just run around creating a to-do, finding it, updating it, all that stuff is almost identical to the actual code that we'll be writing in our controllers in the next video. So now that we understand a little bit of how to create, manipulate, display to-dos, let's actually show it in a user interface.